This episode starts with Twilight leaving behind Spike and the pets, and you'll see how that unfolds in Just for Sidekicks. I already talked about this gimmick in my review of that episode, and I'm not particularly interested in repeating myself. Twilight is about to see through Spike's charade, but gets called away too quickly. We learn that the Crystal Empire is up for the Equestria Games, which I'm assuming is something like the Olympics. We learn that Cloudsdale was supposed to host the Equestria Games one year, but lost. And for some reason that gives Rainbow the determination to make sure that the Crystal Empire gets them. Yeah, I know her motivations, but the way it's portrayed makes it seem kind of weak. The moment is played for laughs, but the rest of the episode plays it seriously. The flashback just went by way too quickly. The main six have to convince the Games Inspector that the Crystal Empire is a good enough place to host the games. The main six start cheering on the train, until it comes to a complete stop and jostles them all around. After they get out, they start wandering through the Crystal Empire, and see every crystal pony cleaning it up. They go to see Cadence at the Crystal Empire Spa, and Pinkie goes crazy, causing Twilight to freak out. But Cadence teaches her a calming technique, and it actually seems to work. Sort of. We learn that Cadence's hairdresser is out sick, even though she needs to have a special hairstyle for the Games Inspector. Rarity offers to give it a shot, even though it demands a lot of instructions. Another piece of news is that the Game Inspector will be arriving several hours ahead of schedule, on the next train. Twilight calms herself down, and gives everyone instructions.
Every pony just be on the lookout for the pony with the flower print luggage.
That's the best detail you could include. Not her eye color, what type of pony she is, her fur color, her mane style, just her type of luggage. Are you Miss Harshwinny? Well, he's got a flower print luggage. He must be Miss Harshwinny. I know that example seems a little extreme, but the main six are lacking on quite a bit of intelligence in this episode. Rainbow convinces them that since Miss Harshwinny has a reputation of throwing tests at welcoming committees, they should just roll with whatever's going on. Then they walk up to a pony with a flower print luggage.
Well, I know you're not expecting us, but we're here to personally welcome you to the Crystal Empire.
Yeah, they never ask what her name is until the end. They just assume that she's Miss Harshwinny, when she's so clearly not. And they offer to be her welcoming committee, making her pretty excited for it. Then they go off to the Eiffel Tower, while the real Miss Harshwinny arrives at the train station. And she seems to be expecting someone, despite Twilight just mentioning that Miss Harshwinny wasn't expecting anyone. You know what? It's a nitpick, not important. We cut to Rarity, who's having trouble fixing Cadence's mane. A lot of trouble. Then we cut back to the imposter,
This has been another pointless moment.
who seems to have some kind of claustrophobia. The main six think it's a trick, and force her to sit down.
We're not even from here ourselves. Who better than us to let you know just how welcoming this place can be?
I think that's the problem with this episode. Someone please tell me how that makes sense, in the slightest. The main six have a cheer routine, and yeah, it's pretty impressive. But after the cheer routine, we get the most forced scene of the episode.
That's fantastic. Princess Cadence would be so glad to hear that.
I'm surprised she knows anything about me at all.
Of course she does. She's been looking forward to your visit for weeks.
Twilight tells the imposter that Cadence has been expecting her, and the imposter keeps saying she doesn't have any idea why Cadence would. Everyone's an idiot all around. The imposter comes outside, and Rainbow offers to give her a tour of the Eiffel Tower, despite not knowing anything about it. And yes, they do bring up how that might be a problem. Twilight calms down, and agrees to let them give the imposter a tour, and she goes to find Cadence. As soon as she leaves, she finds Miss Harshwinny struggling with her bag, says hello, and walks by. Dave Polsky, if you're going to do something as cliched as the Comedy of Errors, do it right, please. In that moment, Twilight could have helped Miss Harshwinny with her luggage, making her think that the Crystal citizens are nice and helpful. Instead, Twilight just walks by.
This has been another pointless moment.
Twilight checks up on Rarity, and she does get a pretty good moment to shine. The remaining main six are acting like idiots, and Pinkie is literally making faces. Is that in character? Maybe. Either way, it's not really funny. Twilight believes that the imposter is getting bored when it's clear that she's getting claustrophobic. Needing help, Twilight goes to find Shining Armor, while the rest of the main six continue giving her the tour of the Eiffel Tower that they know nothing about. Shining Armor is training some of the Crystal Pony athletes, and Twilight starts asking him for help. Then the imposter runs outside and starts freaking out. Yeah, that's funny enough. Stick to what you know, Polsky. And would you look at that, Shining Armor actually isn't an idiot. He starts questioning why the Games Inspector would be running around like crazy. The imposter eventually lands a vase on her head, and freaks out, running through the city. Rainbow Dash pulls the vase off, and splats into the roof of the spa. Yeah, that's probably one of the funniest jokes all season. Then I think the imposter starts flirting with Shining Armor, and that reveals that she's not Miss Harshwinny.
Are Miss Harshwinny, the Equestria Games Inspector?
You know, when I meet new people, their name is usually the first thing I ask, not the last. No, she's not Miss Harshwinny. And Twilight starts hyperventilating her calming technique, which, yes, is pretty funny. The main six go looking for the real Games Inspector, and Pinkie suggests that they check the spa through her own Pinkie way. And that's just where she happens to be. In fact, she's talking to the imposter and hearing how wonderful her time at the Crystal Empire's been. When Miss Harshwinny learns the Cadence is also at the spa, she blows up at her, and then Rainbow admits their mistakes, and even offers to take the blame. Then we hear that Miss Harshwinny likes how the imposter was treated, and the plot unravels in a convoluted mess that I'm not even going to try to untangle. Miss Harshwinny said that she hated welcomes and wanted the inside scoop, and she got it. But it was only when the imposter got an apparently unbiased appraisal did she give the Crystal Empire the Equestria Games. Yep, they got the Equestria Games, which everyone is expecting in Season 4. The humor is great, but the plot sucks. No, really, that's entirely what this episode amounts to. Some of the best jokes this season, but probably the worst plot. Luckily for this episode's sake that everyone is reasonably in character. Compared to Just for Sidekicks, this episode has better moments, but it's a worse overall product. But let's be honest here, you don't really care, do you? If you find my opinion of this episode valuable, my opinion of the next episode is like 10 times more so. I actually think that this episode was designed to have nothing really to talk about, and to be as average as possible. If you don't recall, just after the release of Just for Sidekicks, Alicorn Twilight was revealed, and everyone was going crazy over it. If this episode was another party of one, then it probably would have gotten overshadowed. But if it was another mystery on the Friendship Express, it probably would have added fuel to the fire. I'm halfway certain that no one really cares about this episode, but it's not like Apple Family Reunion where that was an unintentional effect. Whether you like this episode or you don't, the next episode is much more important. This episode was just made to tide us over. Speaking of which,